The markets are crashing. We are at a very low point when it comes to crypto and NFTs. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what's going on in the markets, but we're also going to be covering some exciting mints that you gotta keep an eye out for. So obviously, one of the biggest piece of news that's going on right now is the stablecoin Terra USD has been dropping. We did talk about them in our last video where it's supposed to be a stablecoin that's supposed to be like always around $1, but it has dropped all the way to 30 cents, 40 cents, and now bouncing back up to 60 cents, right? Will it go back to $1? It's hard to say. And what's really interesting about this is I talked to a few friends of mine who actually had quite a bit of money in UST. It's crazy because this is something that's supposed to be like the equivalent to like $1, and to see half your portfolio disappear, that's supposed to be like extremely safe, is kind of crazy. So anyone who's going through this or affected by this, I'm empathetic towards you, and just know that you got to keep your head up and stay confident in this entire situation. Now, also reporting on Terra Luna, at one point it was like one of the hottest top 10 like alternative coins, and because of the stable coin, UST going down so hard, Luna as an alternative coin also went down pretty hard as well. So you can see over the last couple of days, it went from $80 all the way to less than $1, 30 cents. I'm not sure if it's going to recover. I'm not really sure what's going to happen to Luna Terra, because a lot of people have money in this. You definitely want to be surrounded by people that support you. Just know no matter what kind of situation you're in, there's always a way out. There's always a brighter side. So, keep your head up. And then let's go ahead and move into some of the majors. So Bitcoin obviously going down as well, 27K. Ethereum at 1.8. So we haven't seen it at 1.8 in quite a while over the last year. It did touch 1.8 in July 2021, which was pretty much like a year ago, essentially. So it's kind of like just cycling back to where it was. Now, if you have a lot of cash, it might be an interesting time to think about dollar cost averaging in. I do think it might go lower, but honestly, it's a coin flip at this point. So don't trust what I'm saying, not financial advice. But yeah, sometimes these kind of bloody streets create an opportunity for some people. And other times, if you have Ethereum, I have Ethereum too, sometimes you have to think about, should you sell or should you hold it? How long can you hold it? And you always want to be in a position where you're not overextending yourself, right? Like for me, with all this going on, based on how I did my investments in crypto and stuff, yeah, I'm down on some things, but like because I didn't overinvest, I can just hold it out for the long term. But everybody's in a different situation, and how I want to think about it is I've been through this before, where in 2017, 18, I listened to like Ty Dilfis tell me like what coins I should buy, and I bought whatever he told me to buy, and then I was just down by 50%. I just like cashed out. It didn't touch crypto for like the next like 3 or 4 years. My take on this is that even if you're down bad, sometimes it's okay to lose money. Sometimes it's okay to hold, depending on what you have. If you want to be in this space and you want to build in this space and you want to be here for a long time, just know that the space is going to continue to grow over time, especially when it comes to crypto and NFTs. It is the future. It's just, there's going to be cycles of ups and downs, and the market condition overall for like the S&P 500 and, outside of crypto is kind of going down. It's going through a correction that's healthy for the market. And just know that if you just keep your head up, everything will be okay. So take a deep breath, touch some grass, hang out with your friends, because it's going to be all right. And as long as you can survive, as long as you can make it through, you're going to take these learning lessons much further for the years to come. And if you ever need anyone to talk to, or maybe you want to talk to me, make sure to join the Parallax Discord, because we're all in the same boat together and we can help each other out. So Parallax Discord is completely free, so check it out if you want to just chat it up. Let's go ahead and move into some more fun things going on in the market, right? And that is Otherside's meta. So Otherside's, obviously there was a huge land sale, and there has been some updates on what's going on with this metaverse game, right? Or metaverse universe, I suppose. So you can see over here, we have this Bored Ape over here walking around their land, essentially. It looks good, right? It looks like Fortnite-ish kind of thing. It looks like a game that people would play. What can you do in this actual game? There's not really, it's really just a guy walking around, right? So we haven't seen what they can do, but I'm sure they're going to figure out, ways to make this actually fun. Hopefully, ideally, right? Because everybody bought this land, and if it's not fun, then that would be terrible for everybody. If you look on the Othersides.xyz website, there's going to be more updates on what's been going on. If you read it, it's quite cryptic. They're not really sharing with you like exactly what they're going to do. They're just kind of hinting at like Coda origins, the decoupling. So what does that mean? Nobody really knows, right? You kind of just got to read it and just like speculate on what they're going to do. But essentially, it's just kind of like their vision or roadmap for Codas and the Otherside's lands. Just kind of poking around their website, like you can get kind of clues on what they want to do. So for example, if you go to the SDK site of the website, it's like build your own world. Which SDK are you interested in? So SDK stands for a set of tools for third-party developers. So essentially, they're going to create tools and allow people to build on top of their world, right? So you can see there's like character creation, skins, in-game resources, rich gaming. I don't know what rich gaming is, casual mini game, and others, right? So this pretty much gives you an idea of what they're going to do with the land, right? They're going to create different characters, different skins. They're going to create different games within the other side's land. They're also going to create mini games within the land. So I guess like you can create your own game on the land. So that kind of gives you a hint of what they're aiming for, because like their roadmap is pretty unclear of what you're supposed to do or what you can do. But how I see it is it's just a metaverse play where people can build on top of it. You can kind of do anything, kind of like building Lego blocks, similar to the sandbox essentially, but instead of having everything be voxel, they kind of did their own thing. And then also with the resources, right? That's a little different where, each piece of land has different resources. Like if you look at the trailer that they have out, right? In certain parts, there's going to be the little volcano in the back. So I'm guessing that for the volcano, it's not something that you would have to build. It was something that would be on your land. So I'm guessing, because they have so many different lands, I think like hundreds of thousands, right? It's probably going to be like algorithmically generated where they have the assets and they just like randomly put them around depending on, the land that you have. That's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Will this be a thing that everybody will play? We'll see. It remains to be seen, but it's interesting. Okay, so next piece of news that we have coming out is going to be the Karafuru 3D mint. And as you know, I am a fan of Karafuru and I am minting. They're going to have a fair Dutch auction on May 17th, private sale at May 18th, and then anything that's left over, they're going to have a public sale on May 18th on the same day. I think this is a weird timing for Karafuru because the markets are really dumping down. Ethereum is going down as well. So like when they mint out, they're not going to make as much money as they would have. I believe they're still going to continue through this because they're partnering with Hypebeast and Atmos, and it's kind of like the show must go on, right? So I definitely respect that, someone launching during a difficult time. But because they have good marketing, they have good art, hopefully, the Karafuru community does support them through this. It's going to be hard to make money when it comes to like flipping, but I think if you have a solid community, I think it should go well, but it remains to be seen. We'll just have to see as this goes on. And I think beyond Karafuru, like anybody that mints during this time, it's going to be tough. And a lot of projects most likely will kind of delay their mint or take extra time to make their project extra special and wait for that bull market to cycle through. And are we in a complete bear? Are we going to go bear for the next year? Honestly, nobody really knows. It's really a coin flip. It's confidence in the market. Like anything can kind of happen. But yeah, definitely something you want to look out for, especially if you like this project. And if you can get it at a good price, maybe it's a good time to enter, right? But obviously, if everything's going down, you have to expect that if you buy an NFT, most likely it's going to go down too, not because the project is bad, but because the entire market is has a downward pressure. And also if Ethereum goes down, all the NFTs on Ethereum also go down with it, right? So it's just difficult to kind of have everything go up like it did like 6 months ago. Now, in other news, we're going to talk about Kaiju Kingz real quick. Looks like they are going to take the next steps towards launching their play to earn game. The game is not going to come out until probably end of this year, early next year, they say, but there's going to be different phases that are going to happen to prepare for that game. So if you go on their website, it's basically just a countdown for 4 days. And then when you want more information, all you gotta do is go on to their Medium article, which explains what's going on. I read through the entire thing and I want to give you my personal take on it. So if you're a fan of Kaiju Kingz or play to earn and things like that, just understand that what I say is just my honest opinion. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just what I feel based on the information I have, right? And I could totally be wrong. If I'm incorrect, then you can feel free to correct me, right? I'm just going to give you my honest take on things. It's not a fact. It's just an opinion and perspective. And there's many perspectives that can exist. Let's go ahead and get into it, right? So the new mechanics that they're going to have is that they have R-Waste, and then they're going to create a new token called Scales, which is going to be their main token moving forward in the future, I believe, for the play to earn game. And then those scales will be used to create a new token called DNA. So it's not necessarily a alternative coin, but I think it's just like token, I guess like an NFT essentially. They all look the same. And then those NFTs are used to start the mutant DNA process. You got to use a mutant kaiju and combine it with DNA to create another thing. Then you have to use your mutant kaiju and use your scales and your DNA, I'm not exactly sure, to increase your chances of success. So essentially, to get the mutant DNA, you're going to spend 300 scales and have to have a mutant kaiju. You have to extract the DNA and you have a chance of getting different rarities of that DNA. So then each DNA type is going to have different elements as well. And then with that DNA, it actually doesn't say what you are supposed to do with that DNA. Are you supposed to make a monster? Once you combine all these things, I believe you extract the DNA, and it's not clear according to the Medium article. So please feel free to write it in the comments if I'm missing something. It's not clear if you take that DNA to create another monster or that DNA represents a monster. And then there's this concept of scientists which have a chance to steal your DNA. So long story short, there's a lot of mechanics going on, right? And I think to fully understand it, someone would probably have to create an infographic to put it all together. I personally feel like this is a lot more complicated than it needs to be. That's just my personal take, because to actually understand how to play this money game, you have to probably put together Excel sheets and calculate probability to see how much assets you need to invest to, make a certain amount of dollars. So in a sense, for me, when I look at this, it really comes down to, will people play the game when it actually comes out? The whole point of this entire tokenomic ecosystem is to create this DNA, which is like these monsters that's supposed to fight each other similar in a P2E game. If nobody plays the game, then it's like you kind of went through all these tokenomics and then you created something that may be worth nothing, right? But if people play the game, then suddenly this becomes a lot more interesting. And I feel like in order for this game to work, they have to probably get a lot of people into their ecosystem moving forward. And it seems like they're going to do free to play entry point, right? So whenever this game comes out, and it's not even clear like what the game is going to look like, a lot of people have to come in for free and have opportunity to play, to enjoy the game, and then somehow they're going to monetize that. It's kind of like combining two different ideas together, where you have this free to play earn side where people can come in and play for free, and then there's like this whole tokenomic side for the people that already have like Genesis and the babies and stuff like that, which they want to obviously reward those holders. So there's not many good examples of a play to earn like being very successful from an NFT project, right? This is like new frontier, so I'm definitely not hating on it. It's just like it's new uncharted territory, so I'm following this to see like how they're going to pull it off, if they pull it off. But also, you know, beyond the game, there's other ways to use your tokens. Like you can do a whitelist marketplace, you can buy merchandise, right? I mean, it remains to be seen if these are things that can really like people will really want to use their tokens for, because we've seen in the past like tokens have crashed all the time because you're not able to create value from it, and it's difficult to bring new people into your ecosystem month over month. But something to watch out for if you're interested in Kaiju Kingz and how that whole ecosystem works. Now, in other news, we're going to be talking about RTFKT Studios and Takashi Murakami. So, you know, right now Takashi Murakami is having some events going on in New York City where they're going to be displaying RTFKT Studios art and Takashi Murakami, and also Murakami Flowers. As you can see, you know, they got different galleries and things like that. So this is really interesting because, you know, Takashi Murakami has been displaying his work in like fine art museums for quite a while, and I actually seen them in person before in California, so it is actually pretty sick. But it's a good example of like an NFT project who took Web 2 concepts and then combined it with an NFT, and now it's like just this thing that just naturally blends together, right? So nothing has changed when it comes to Takashi Murakami, you know, putting out his art and people coming to his show, and then people buying his art for high prices, and then just like creating an NFT and allowing people to be a part of it and like have a sense of ownership when it comes to purchasing, like say Takashi Murakami flower or Murakami drip from RTFKT Studios, right? That's like more connection, especially because like fine art, it's out of the price range for a majority of people in the world, right? But, and again, like Takashi Murakami flower is not that cheap, but it's cheaper than, let's say, buying like a giant piece. It's a really nice way for people of different budgets to come into the fine art space, and I'm pretty bullish on that in general, right? I'm not saying like Takashi Murakami specifically, but I'm saying like artists in general who want to expand their audience beyond people who are just like super rich and can afford the stuff, but people who can, you know, spend a couple $1,000s to be part of the community. So that's something that I'm pretty interested in learning more about, because it seems like a really good way to meet people, and like there are like hundreds of people like meeting up in the Clone X community and the Takashi Murakami flower community. So definitely something that I'm interested in checking out probably in the future if I spend more time in America. One thing that's really interesting is that even though this is like fine art, they're making accessibility very accessible, right? You don't have to own an NFT, you don't have to own a Clone X to come to these events. Everybody is like pretty kind, and I actually reached out to some people on the RTFKT team, and they're like, yeah man, just if you're in town, just like come through, you don't need to buy anything. And I really respect that, where they're really trying to build a community together and they're not trying to sell you anything, right? That's just something I definitely respect and would want to be a part of a community like that, especially if you don't have to buy anything. You can just check out the vibe to see if you vibe with the people, and then if it's cool, maybe you'll buy something, maybe you won't, but at least you made some friends. And so at the end of the day, even when the markets are down and everything, for me the most important thing is having the right relationships, building the right friendships through the ups and downs. That's where the most fun is. So that's everything we have to cover for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and if you want to chat it up, join our Discord, Parallax Discord. Link is in the description, and I will see you guys in the next one.